What's going on, everyone? It's Dimitris MVG here, and I'm going to get a little personal today on the channel. There's a couple of things that are going on, a couple of changes that are happening on the channel that I wanted to talk about. Now, the first thing you may notice is the shelves above me are starting to get bare, and you can probably guess based on that that I'm actually moving house. Yes, that's right, I'm not copying LGR's video, even though he made a video on the same topic yesterday. I'm actually moving house as well. In fact, I think there's a lot of people right now that are in the process of moving house, and I think it has to do with, I guess, the pandemic, and kind of as we kind of move out of the pandemic, people are kind of thinking about, moving somewhere else and getting a fresh start, and I certainly am one of those people as well. So yes, I am moving house, and it's been something that's been in the works for actually quite a while. It's not something that just kind of sprung up in the last, month or so. We've planned this move for, 6 months now, maybe even longer than that. But move, which means packing up all my stuff, packing boxes, getting it into storage, getting movers organized, all that stuff. But the reality is, yes, I am moving house, and with moving house, it means that I have to focus my time on the move, which means with moving house, it means that I have to focus my time on the move, which means packing up all my stuff, packing boxes, getting it into storage, getting movers organized, all that stuff. Anyone that has moved house before, or moved into an apartment, or sold their existing house and moved into a new place, whatever the situation is, when you physically have to move yourself and your belongings somewhere else, it's always very stressful. So it's the end of the year, and I don't have a regular scheduled video for this week, but I did want to turn the camera on just to chat with you guys one-on-one and just talk about the year in review. It's been a very busy year for me, both on YouTube and in my personal and work life, and there's been so much going on with me, and I just kind of wanted to just take a moment and just kind of breathe and chat with you guys and kind of review the year and how things have gone. Now, the year itself was very busy for me. It was not busy in a bad way. There was definitely some stress along the way, and I wanted to, just talk about it. I think the best way to kind of get things off your chest is just to chat. So in the middle of the year, you guys know that I moved house. Some of you guys know probably that I moved house, and that was a pretty busy time for me. Basically, we ended up relocating from one state to another state, and it was a lot bigger than I had anticipated. And I think when you do move, you kind of make stories in your head about how the move is going to go before you do it, and the reality is it never really turns out that way when you execute on it. It was very busy and very, very stressful.
Very, very stressed out.
Very, very stressful. Another thing that was going on as I was moving house was I was also in the process of shipping a game that was released by Nightdive Studios, known as Blade Runner Enhanced Edition. So as the move was going on, I was also still developing that game and trying to get the game shipped out the door. And as a result of that, it was not the best launch of that game when it came out. It was not reviewed very well, and I do regret that. I think in hindsight, I probably should have told the management that we needed to wait on that release, but at the end of the day, the game came out and it didn't do very well. But the good news is, since then, the game has been patched and it's definitely being received a lot more favorably. Now, why am I telling you this? So after all that went down, we finally moved to the new place, which just moved to this house, and we've lived here for less than 6 months. one of the things I ended up doing was leaving Nightdive Studios. I left the company in September and I accepted a full-time position at Limited Run Games. Now, you're probably wondering, well, why did you leave Nightdive Studios? That sounds like a great place to work. You seem like you're doing really well there. The reality is this. So I am nearly 50 years old. I turned 50 in April of next year, 2023. And I was overworking. I was doing too much. And one of the things that I have, one of the, I guess, the traits about me is that I was born to work.
How's it going, guys? Cameron here with Canadian Gamer coming at you with another video. Where do we even begin with this guy? Modern Vintage Gamer. Now, you saw that footage there. Obviously, back in May, he posted a video, We Need to Talk, talking about his stressful move, which he had been planning 6 months in advance, but apparently not because he didn't have any of his stuff packed and he was all stressed out. Now, you also saw there, obviously, there's been some behind the curtains activity happening at Nightdive Studio. Now, Dimitris, again, we're not disclosing any information that's not public. He even stated on his video, his name's Dimitris, has been working for Nightdive Studios for a couple of years now. And Modern Vintage Gamer, he's got a tight relationship with the guys over at Digital Foundry. As a matter of fact, Digital Foundry has covered several Nightdive Studios releases that have come out over the last couple of years. Doom 64 is one of them, Shadow Man Remastered, Turok, the Dinosaur Hunter, and they even covered Quake and Power Slave Exhumed. However, they did not cover the Blade Runner Enhanced Edition release. I don't know why. You can ask John Linneman that question. Maybe you can also ask him why Digital Foundry was spending so much time covering games that Dimitris had been working on. So obviously there's something going on there behind the scenes. You scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. Who knows? So fast forward a couple of days removed from Christmas, Dimitris posts this video talking about his stressful year that he had. Talks a little bit about the situation at Nightdive Studios, and he talks about his stressful move that he had that was happening around the same time as well. So stressful, he had to take a month vacation to Australia for a little bit of R&R. So stressful that he had to post video of himself driving what appears to be a Dodge Viper, driving through the desert on his way to Las Vegas. I don't know if that's a Viper or not. Those look like hood vents, if you ask me. And so, yes, this guy has moved to the City of Angels, Las Vegas, where all the excitement happens. And he's so stressed out. But the most interesting thing to note, I'll leave a link in the description below. You guys can check it out. An article from PC Gamer that was released on August 9th of 2022. So just a month before September. And it talks about Nightdive sheds light on why Blade Runner Enhanced Edition was such a disaster. And it says here, staff absences and a determination to release in time for the movie's 40th anniversary created a perfect storm and a disappointing game. So there's some interesting quotes in here. So Nightdive's Larry Kuperman, and it says right here, Dimitris Giannakis, hope I'm pronouncing that right, Modern Vintage Gamer, the company's director of business development and lead producer on Blade Runner Enhanced Edition, shed some light on the perfect storm the project faced before it was released. So we have a quote here from Kuperman. It says, if anyone thinks that we sat around the table and said we're going to ship a game that's not up to our Nightdive standards, that didn't happen. Instead, the pair attribute the bulk of the blame to a confluence of factors, namely Kuperman's desire to ship a game in time for the original movie's 40th anniversary and an absence of QA staff because of COVID-19, with Giannakis, Modern Vintage Gamer, taking time off to move across country there was no one around with the willingness to pull the handbrake on the project. And we have another quote here from Kuperman. It says, anyone who knows me knows that I have a strong personality. If Giannakis, again, modern vintage gamer, had been available, he might have been the one that said, hey, we're not ready, and averted the game's disastrous launch. That certainly wasn't the only issue. The pair also spoke about problems caused by the absence of the original game source code and the difficulty of testing a game that relies so heavily on RNG to determine what players see. Nevertheless, it really does sound like the game would have done a lot better if someone had just been willing to slam on the brakes. So there you have it. Obviously, modern vintage gamer, let's be honest here, he was to blame for why this was a botched release. Absolutely. He was more concerned about his cross-country move to Las Vegas than he was in regards to finishing a job that he was contracted to do to finish this game in a finished state. So obviously, modern vintage gamer, his head was somewhere else. Maybe he already had limited run games on the mind. Around this time, Audie from Digital Foundry left Digital Foundry to go work for limited run games as well. So this is quite the rabbit hole. So we don't know the full story here. Obviously, it sounds like Dimitris was extremely stressed out and just wanted to get away from the situation. And yeah, not a good look for modern vintage gamer. Not a good look at all. So obviously, it sounds like the wheels were already in motion with regards to him, planning his move to limited run games. And it sounds like he left Nightdive Studio high and dry. And it also sounds like modern vintage gamer released this video on December the 26th just to sort of share his side of the story as to what went down at Nightdive Studio. So it does not sound like this was an amicable split. So either this guy was asked to leave or he left on his own accord because of the new opportunity he got at limited run games. Most likely this botched release played some factor in him wanting to sort of get on with his life, Dimitris, and applying for work at limited run games. So yeah, we don't obviously have the whole story here, some speculation at hand, but yeah, on the surface it doesn't look good. We have a guy who's claiming he's stressed out. He's relocating to one of the most expensive places in the United States that you could live in, Las Vegas. Obviously it can't be cheap living there. So yeah, quite the wormhole, this guy, modern vintage gamer. It never fucking ends with this guy. Good Lord. Leave it in the comments below. What are your thoughts on this rabbit hole involving Nightdive Studios, modern vintage gamer, and limited run games? Leave it in the comments below, guys. Anyways, thanks so much for watching. Have a great day.
Was very busy and very, very stressful.